The Genesee County Finance Committee at 9 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lloyd, Commissioner Winfrey.
Here.
Commissioner Ellenberg.
Here.
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Avery.
Here.
Commissioner Shoemaker.
Present.
Commissioner Kuznow.
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill.
I'm here.
Commissioner Davis. Do we have a quorum?
Okay, I need a motion for approval of the minutes.
Move it. Support.
Okay.
We're in unison
They're right
here.
on top.
We're an eager bunch, Mr. Chair.
All right, I'm not going to do any stand-up comedian stuff today, so thank you for the support. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We now take a moment for a public comment to the committee. Is there anybody that wishes to address the committee at this point in time? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Communications, we don't have any, do we?
No.
Old business, none?
Nothing.
New business, Resolution 24-247, approval of a contract extension for the brokered insurance services, Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, in an amount not to exceed $73,700 to provide for the brokered insurance services. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the following accounts.
So moved.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 24-249, approval of agreement between Genesee County and UKG Cronus in an amount not to exceed $60,077.51 to provide for the annual service agreement for the Cronus time clocks. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the following account.
I'll move it.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion for 24-263, approval of a proposed amendment to the 23-24 appropriations resolution reallocating expenditures in the amount of $17,672 to allow for the repayment of disallowed costs by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. A budget adjustment form is attached.
So moved.
Support.
Is there any questions or
Mr.
comments?
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner?
Yeah, could I see why it was reallocated for repayment?
Do we have somebody from the Health Department here, Finance?
Is this one yours or is this one the
Yes.
prosecutor's?
Ours.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, it's been rectified. We have so many grant funds. When we get audited, there may be some funds that we had charged but were not authorized, and it was this. We've been in contact with fiscal services. Clearly, the auditors know there was nothing intentional, but sometimes our investigations for those investigators bleed over into other investigations. The big one that cost a lot was the Kelly McWhorter case, which we used everybody, not to sensationalize it, but that was the truth. And because it was domestic violence, it wasn't covered among other cases. So they said we need to pay back the grant, that amount, which we were able to work and reallocate some funding for staff that we are not going to use and pay it back. So it's money that's already been budgeted to my office by the board in order to pay back. But I assure the board that it's been rectified.
Okay, so this basically, was this something that's done every year? Did they look at past years and make sure that the same thing didn't happen?
Yes, ma'am. This is an audit every year that we provide through the STOP grant, which is the domestic violence grant that we partner with the prosecutor's office. Mr. Freeman, did I miss anything on that? Is that accurate?
I just don't know what year this was for. It would be my only question. I think.
The audit was this year
Yeah,
for a year prior,
yep.
2023.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 24-279, forwarding to receive and file a copy of the paid county bills for the weeks ending 2/25/24, 3/3/24, in the total amount of $13,445,458.06.
Support.
Anybody have any questions on the bills? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Resolution 24-285, approval of a purchase order to Dive Rescue International for the fiscal year ending 2024 in an amount not to exceed $14,386.66 to provide for the purchase of 2 Humminbird Apex 19 side scanner sonar, 2 Humminbird Mega 360 imaging, 1 Humminbird 20 MTIT transducer, 1 Humminbird Lake Master Great Lakes V4 mapping, 2 RAM mounts, and 2 installation kits. The cost of this request will be paid from the following account. Sounds like my fishing boat.
I have a question.
Did we have a motion
that a
and
haiku?
support?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have questions too, but go
Okay,
ahead.
so, if I may, Matt, or Mr. Chair, so will this be going on the new boat that we are just purchased?
Yes, ma'am.
And we didn't have anything like this on
ma'am.
prior boats and stuff?
Side scan sonar allows us to see virtually clear images of what's on the bottom of a body of water. We do not have that capability. The state police in Oakland County do, therefore we call on them. It delays rescues, it delays recoveries, and this is all Homeland Security Region 3 money that we are a part of with our friends from Tuscola, Midland, Saginaw, Bay County.
Okay, I have one similar, but it only finds fish.
Yes.
Anyway, it's called a fish finder, not a hummingbird, but, okay, so will this boat mostly be on like Lake Fenton? Is that,
This boat is going to be a boat that can go anywhere in the county at a rapid transport. We are not going to put this in a marina, and so we can move it to wherever we need, whenever needed.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this, I've never heard of a Humminbird Mega 360 imaging, but now I kind of know what it is and what it's used for. I wonder if we looked at a lot of bids for this, because I actually saw that one of the units was a little over $1,700, and I did a check on Amazon for the same thing, and I found it for $1,300. So I just wonder if we put out a bid for this, and, you know, can you tell us about the quality and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. I will tell you, for the actual equipment that we need, that has been battle tested, that other Marine divisions and dive rescues use, this is the gold standard. You could certainly get something cheaper, but this is what is recommended, and because it fit within the guidelines of purchasing, there was no RFP required, but bids and comparables were also given to fiscal services as well. We have settled on this, and I do want to add, this discussion also happened at the Region 3 to get the grant money in order for us in Genesee County to receive it. So all of that legwork is done. I'd be happy to share that with you as well. But I do want to say that this allows our boats, and I do want to apologize, it's 2, not just 1. So it allows us to have it on both boats.
I see Mr. Jones. Did you have something to add about the purchasing?
Through the chair to Commissioner Brown. There are 3 quotes that were attached to the actual packet, so those are part of your packet as well.
Thank you.
Are you through? You're good?
I'm good.
Okay. Sheriff, the only question I have is that there's a similar request for, in Government Ops Committee.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, what's the difference and why is it under 2 different committees?
Well, I'm guessing that one is to accept the grant money and the other is to spend the money. But I have no problem if you were to do it all in one motion.
Okay, Josh took responsibility. We're all set. Thank you.
That's all I ask.
Okay.
It's on the record.
Well, I just want you to know I read the agendas too. Thank you, Sheriff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 24-291, approval of a proposed budget amendment to the 23-24 appropriations resolution for various line items as described in the attached budget adjustment request.
So move.
Support.
Is there any questions or comments? Did you raise your hand, Mr. Lloyd? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 24-292, approval of a request to amend a purchase order by increasing the total dollar amount by $14,880 for a new total of $146,698 to provide for the additional weatherization services at Genesee County's Community Action Resource Department. The cost for this increase will be paid from the following account.
Move it. Support.
Is there any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Resolution 24-300, approval of a proposed amendment to the 23-24 appropriations resolution reallocating expenditures in the amount of $14,020 to allow for the repayment of disallowed costs by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. A budget adjustment form is attached.
So move.
Support.
Commissioner Ellenberg.
Could you explain the repayment of this?
Yeah, good morning. This is the same issue that you just addressed with the sheriff's office. It entails our activities under the STOP grant for fiscal year 2023. There was an extensive audit of both our finances and program operations. And during this audit, they determined that approximately 5% of the work done in fiscal 2023 by our two assigned APAs, who are supposed to be working solely on this grant, which involves domestic violence cases, stalking, and criminal sexual assault cases. They must do 100% of their work on those types of cases that are specifically designated STOP cases. Well, if you've ever been in the courtroom, you may see a variety of lawyers in there. And our STOP prosecutors are sitting there while other cases are being heard. And on occasion, a judge may ask our assistant prosecutor to stand and address a matter or sit in on a hearing. In addition, due to the enormous pressures we sustained in 2023 due to numerous vacancies, positions that, as you're well aware, were unfilled for quite some time, we had just this backload of cases that was spread out, and sometimes our STOP prosecutors would agree to cover a hearing or preliminary examination on occasion. It was done with full intention to advance cases through the system as efficiently as possible, but that's unallowed by the grant. That's the bottom line. The grant requirements are that APA sit there and not participate on any other prosecution case. So we have since sent a letter to all the judges. Our staff have been adamantly made aware that they can only do STOP cases, and the rest of our staff have been informed not to rely on our STOP prosecutors for any of the other caseload. So it's kind of a long-winded answer, but I wanted to give you the details.
If I could continue,
So,
was the money recovered within your budget?
yes, that's, there's a budget amendment that's no bottom line cost to the county general fund because we've taken the money, and I don't know if Crystal's here, or a financial person's here, that money is being taken from another account within our budget, so.
Right, thank you.
Is that clear? I was kind of long-winded there, but, so there was about $14,000 that we've determined was spent on activities that were not directly related to this grant.
Is there anybody else?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, question for the group or for those that know, not so much for Mr. Potberry, but we all had a smaller group meeting on this issue 2 months ago, maybe, a month and a half?
That's correct.
Yeah, and then as a result of that, it sounds like some things have been put in place so that going forward, folks know that they can't work on other things, otherwise it'll be disallowed. Is that,
That's correct, yes.
yeah, the essence? All right, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to thank, this has been going on for a number of months, the audit, and it was very long and extensive
Yes.
on a, of course, a much larger, the grant was $500,000, but Crystal, the sheriff's department, and the prosecutor's department did a wonderful job at, getting through this, and, so they've changed some of the things that they do to, it's mostly just a matter of dotting your i's and crossing your t's, and, the auditors found a couple of little mistakes, and so this is correction for it, and I know you've done a wonderful job in changing things, and I
One other-
appreciate that, and the sheriff too.
Sorry to interrupt,
ahead,
Mr.
I'm
Chair,
done.
but one other practice we put in place is that before fiscal services submits for reimbursement, we send our timesheets from our assistant prosecutors directly to the state. They then approve it, and then we submit from fiscal services. So there's another checks and balance in place before we even find ourselves in the same position.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Montberry. Anybody else? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thanks, John.
Resolution 24-318, approval of request to create, post, and fill one deputy director at Genesee County's Community Corrections. This position is fully grant-funded.
Move it.
Support.
Is there any comments or questions? Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just had one. This is a new position, obviously, but when it says it's fully grant funded, is that coming from the grant we already have and they're just spreading that thinner, or is this a grant that's funding just this position?
So actually, this position exists today. What we're doing is reallocating where it's funded from. So it'll be split between the community corrections grant that we have and then also the opioid settlement funds, which has a percentage that is for administration. This position is taking the lead on working with the opioid executive committee and kind of directing those funds. So we're just reallocating where it's funded from.
Continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through the chair, to Mr. Freeman. I didn't realize we'd addressed the opioid funding of going anywhere, so I'm a little perplexed. I didn't know we had the meeting, and we were still up in the air on how we were gonna move forward with those dollars, so
And this person will work with the board to move those dollars forward. There hasn't been any final settlement on where they're going, but somebody needs to coordinate the activity with that, and if they're going to be doing that activity, we can pay them out of that settlement fund.
So, but, once again, forgive me, when we had the meeting, I didn't think we decided how we're spending any of the funds, and now we've decided with this, we're gonna spend some of the funds on this position, correct?
Right, this board needs to make that decision as to whether or not they want to do that, and that's why the proposal has been brought forward to you.
All right, thank you.
Just a quick question. Which grant is this? I heard opioid settlement dollars and I heard grant.
Our Community Corrections Department is fully funded, grant funded through the state of Michigan.
Thank you.
Is anybody else?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
so it sounds as though the position is funded partially by a grant and partially by opioid settlement dollars. Is it an even split? Could you walk us through that?
Yeah, I believe the split is 80-20, so 20% through the Community Corrections Grant, 80% through opioid.
Okay, and what's the total salary?
It's 85,000 plus whatever the
Okay.
benefits are.
And does that mean that 80% of the time will be used on
That's the
opioid
expectation.
coordination? Okay, thank you, Josh.
Anybody else? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We don't have any other business, do we, Mr. Freeman?
sir.
Okay, we adjourn at 9:18.
Commissions Committee is called to order at 9:20. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lloyd,
Present.
Commissioner Winfrey,
Here.
Commissioner Ellenberg,
Here.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Avery,
Here.
Commissioner Shoemaker. Present. Commissioner Kuzma.
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill,
I'm here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Freeman. Before we move to the approval of the minutes, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Congressman Kildee and his family at this tragic time for them. Thank you. Let's keep Dan and his mom and family in our prayers. Approval of the minutes for March the 6th, 2024. It's been moved and supported. Is there discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is carried. We now move to public comment to the committee. Is there public comment to government operations? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move to communications. Are there any? No. Under old business, I see none. Under new business, we have Resolution 2024-280, approval of a grant award from Region 3 State Homeland Security Program in the amount of $16,210 to provide for the purchase of 2 Hummingbird Apex 19 side scan sonar. The budget for this grant is attached. It's been moved and supported. Is there discussion? Mr. Lloyd.
What is the connection to the resolution we had in finance that kind of spoke to the same? I see different numbers in terms of the purchase. Just want some clarification.
Yeah, Mr. Freeman.
This is the acceptance of the grant. The grant dollar, the grant award was 16,210. What they're going to spend is 14 some odd. Finance was, I messed up on where these agenda items were. Finance was the expenditure. This is the grant award.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Resolution -2024-283, approval of a request by Genesee County's Office of the Prosecutor to travel to the National Association of Extradition Officials Conference in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The dates of travel are May 19 through 21, 2024. Total cost of travel for 2 staff members not to exceed $4,000.
Move it.
It's been moved and supported. Is there discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Resolution -2024-301, approval of contract between Genesee County and Easter Seals of Michigan in an amount not to exceed $115,243.03 to provide for a mental health professional. The cost for this agreement will be paid from the account referenced.
Move it with a question.
It's been moved and supported. Commissioner Kuzno.
Yeah, this is an annual grant, isn't it, or expenditure?
It is. Rhonda's here from the circuit court. She can explain it.
Would you introduce yourself and then, thank you.
I'm Rhonda, I'm a Family Division Administrator. Commissioner, it's a 2-year grant.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Winfrey.
Yes, why Easter Seals and not Genesee Health System?
Easter Seals of Michigan, through another grant, we created a very specific program, intensive case management program called Intensive Family Support. And throughout those grants, we've been able to show with data that it really improves and prevents kids from getting involved unnecessarily in the juvenile justice system. And so it's a mental health professional from that specific program.
Commissioner Kuzno.
Yeah, I guess, Rhonda, what I was trying to make is, even though it's a 2-year grant, it's something we, every 2 years, accept, right, and do?
No.
This is brand new?
It's brand new and it's for 2 years.
Okay. Has there been other grants in the past through Easter Seals for this?
For the intensive family support program, yes.
Okay,
But
well,
not for
that's-
this specific program.
that's
This
where I'm getting
program
confused.
specifically was written as a pre-diversion arrest program. This mental health professional is going to be co-located at the Mount Morris District Schools with the school resource officer to intervene in lieu of filing petition and charges against kids to get them the support and the services that they need without coming to the formal juvenile justice system.
Very good. Your answers are always very thorough. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Do we have additional discussion? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is carried. Do we have other business?
No.
Seeing no other business, we are adjourned at 9:25.
Human Services Committee to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Lloyd,
Present.
Commissioner Winfrey,
Here.
Commissioner Ellenberg,
Here.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Avery,
Here.
Commissioner Shoemaker. Present. Commissioner Kuzno.
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
This time we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Be properly moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Are there any public comments to this committee? Any public comments to this committee? Any public comments to this committee? Hearing none, no communications, no old business, new business. Resolution 2024-231, approval of a request by Genesee County's Health Department to travel to the 2024 WIC Conference in Traverse City, Michigan. The dates of travel are May 9th and 10th, 2024. Total cost of travel for 19 staff members not to exceed $7,866 and is fully grant funded.
Move it.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? Commissioner Kuzno.
Yes, this is a mandatory conference.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
I have a question.
Commissioner Brown.
Around 19 people, will there be somebody left back here to carry on business?
They're abandoning the the ship. Michelle can speak to it.
Hello, good morning. Yes,
morning.
we have 19 staff going, six staff are remaining on site, and most with the WIC, most of theirs are by appointments because they have to give pokes and weigh and things like that. But we also have staff that can take walk-ins for certain things, so.
Commissioner Lloyd. I'm sorry, are you?
I'm done, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Lloyd.
One question, just for clarification, who is this conference mandated by?
WIC, Michigan, the state of Michigan.
Thank you.
And the funding's, just so you know, the funding is all allotted for in the grant as part of our grant, but the state of Michigan actually also reimburses a certain portion for each staff member.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. There's no other business before this committee. We stand adjourned.
Meeting to order at 9:29. Roll call, please.
Lloyd,
Present.
Winfrey,
Here.
Ellenberg,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Avery,
Here.
Shoemaker.
Present.
Kuzno.
Here.
Wayhill.
Here.
Davis.
Need a motion of the approval of the minutes for March 6, 2024.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any corrections or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, is there any public that wishes to speak? Any public wishes to speak? Third time. Seeing none, public comment closed. Any communications?
No, ma'am,
Old business?
nothing.
New business? Resolution 2024-238, approval of agreement between Genesee County and, what is it?
Scioto.
Sciota Services in the amount not to exceed $754,800 to provide continued janitorial service for various buildings through December 2024. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the following account.
Move it.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Mr. Shoemaker?
We have a little more on this, obviously. I mean, have we worked, obviously we have had somebody take care of the buildings. This is obviously a renewal of a contract. Just how we got to this point, did we send it out for more bids instead of just renewing it again? And, for most people looking at $700,000 for janitorial services for a year, can we kind of explain what all's being done? Because that seems like, you're almost, for the rest of the year, you're $90,000 a month. That seems to be a lot, so if you could.
Yep, so this is actually for the fiscal year, so this will go back and pay through starting in October. As you know, we're in the process of some significant building consolidation. The contract did end, but we don't want to go out for an RFP until we know exactly what we're going to have building-wise for the next couple of years and what that timing is for the actual consolidation and taking some of these buildings offline. So what the department and I talked about was extending this through the end of next year, working with purchasing starting late this year to when we'll have a better idea of what our footprint is going to look like. Right now, we've got 17 or 18 buildings, right? We are hoping to have less than that by the end of the year or the beginning of next year, and that we'll put out a formal RFP process at that time when we have a better understanding of where we're at. I don't know if that was kind of gobbledygook, but I think
No,
I got it through.
Got most of it.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I just.
Yes.
So that's for roughly 17 buildings, so the residents understand?
Ish, yeah.
Yes, thank
Yep.
you.
Any other discussion?
And I know Commissioner Winfrey mentioned before about the possibility of maybe splitting some of these up to allow for different contractors to apply, and that's something that we'll take into consideration when we get to that.
I'm looking at the county's deplorable record of inclusive use of minority contractors.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2024-271, approval and agreement between Genesee County and the Thomas Licensing LLC to provide for the 2024-2025 Day Out with the Thomas, Genesee County Historic Crossroad Village, and Huckleberry Railroad.
Move it.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2024-272, approval of a modification, number one, of a contract between Genesee County and Michael Van Valkenburg Associates Incorporated, allowing for modification in the language and terms of the contract as detailed in the attached memo.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? This be explained?
Yep. Somebody from Parks will be able to explain it. One of our two directors. Short timer.
I don't want to throw the new one under the bus because this is my doing, so. So this contractor's out of New York, and there was some misunderstanding on the contract language when we first approved it, and they wanted a few extra changes that had no effect on the cost of the contract. It's just a description. We use the word contractor, and they are a little nervous about that. They say, we're landscape architects, we're not contractors, but we use contractor in a general sort of term, so they wanted that changed to landscape architect. They got a lot of New York lawyers over there, and they want warranties changed to representations, And they want a construction management change to construction observation, which really is what they're doing, is observing. What we want them to do is observe the construction of the playground to make sure that it's built to their specifications. So they wanted those changes.
But no money change at
No
all?
change in funding, no.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2024-312, approval of a purchase order to Zoho Manage Engines for the fiscal year 2024 in the amount not to exceed $33,259 to provide for the purchase of software licenses. The cost of this purchase will be paid by the following account.
So moved.
Been
Support.
moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any other business?
Yeah, so I sent out email, I don't know, a day or two ago about a meeting concerning park rangers. So if we could just recess until all those parties are here, and then we'll reconvene the Public Works Committee at that time.
Okay, so, Mr. Lloyd?
What's the estimated arrival for the rest of the parties?
Did you guys get a hold of them? An hour? I understand. Yeah, so the initial thought was that it was going to be 11 o'clock. It's going to be about an hour.
Oh, okay.
So if you can stay, that would be nice. If you can't, I understand. It's,
Yeah.
that was the request.
So they won't be here until 11?
Ish.
I won't be able to be here, so.
Okay.
Okay, so
Madam
this,
Chair, this is just for discussion.
Yep, no action.
so this meeting will be postponed until 11 o'clock,
Recessed until we call it back to order.
till we call it back to order at 10:30. That was going to be right there.
Too, but